So very warm good afternoon for one and all present here. So today's technical session is on auditing specialized branches and discussion of special issues concerning audits. So before we start our session, so you will be receiving the book from Taxman Publications. If anyone of you have not received the books, you can please contact the reception. So let's welcome today's technical session speaker, CAR Satyanarayana Murthy, to the dais. Please welcome, sir. I request Apaji sir to come and escort the speaker and hand over the bouquet.
Thank you.
Before we start the session, a small introduction about today's speaker. So, sir has got very vast experience and he has a very good educational qualification. Like he is a graduate of science from University of Madurai. He is a fellow member of ICAI, associate member of Company Secretaries of India, and graduate of law from Bangalore University. Sir has also acquired various qualifications in certifications related to ISA, ERM, valuation, etc. At present, Sir is a partner of BK Ramadhani and Co., a firm of chartered accountants. He is responsible for assurances, compliance, due diligence review, and consultancy. Other activities: a core member of the consulting team of Messrs. Samandringa Consultants Private Limited, Bangalore, associated with Purna ECB Solutions, BPO, involved in HR practices, Chaitra Management and Consultancy Services Private Limited, retirement benefits. And his professional accomplishments. So professionally involved in statutory internal audits of multinational companies, public sector and government sectors, and PSU banks like SBI, PNB and corporation banks. Sir is also a member of FRRB Bangalore from past 6 years, a member of NIPM, Institute of Materials Management and Institute of Internal Auditors, co-opted to the SIRC for Infrastructure Systems Committee, Company Law Committee, and also co-opted to the Institute for CPE Committee for the year 2014-15, and has been a Rotarian and a keen golfer. So with this brief introduction, so I hand over the session to today's speaker. So
I welcome all of you for this, not a presentation, not a seminar. I think it's a deliberation. I think I would like to keep it as a discussion group, so that I learned something. Maybe I learned more than what you learned from me. That's the way I would like to look at it. After bank audit has been there for so long, and all of us, I think I'm audible? Even without mic. I think a bank audit has been there for so long, but accepting that there's a little bit of flavor, little bit of variety, little bit of complexity. Like all of us, we know dosa, right? Today people talk about 100, 150 types of dosas are coming. So also the bank audit has evolved over a period of time. And I started probably as a partner of the organization. I've been with the bank audit as a CSA for maybe 30-35 years. And we started with Health Code 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 8. SC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 used to be a recall debt and stress test. Then it gave rise to something called performing asset and non-performing asset. Under NPA we used to have substandard, doubtful and loss assets. Based on the period that, and we started with something called 6 quarters. Then it came down, come down. Like income tax, we had a due date for filing the completing the assessment by March. Then it has been preponed to December. Now I understand it is going to be September next year onwards. Similarly, they have also compressed. Now it is starting at 90 days. So this is becoming a complex. So once the economy is not doing well and the compliance becomes larger and controllership becomes larger, the complexity of the audit comes. I can only empathize with all of us, including me. Earlier we used to get reasonable amount of time to plan ourselves and execute the audit. Today, as I see, this year they have not even announced the branch allotment, right? Or maybe it's in the offing. Maybe today you will get, tomorrow you will get types. And number of branches are also shrinking. And where is the time? In fact, as a CSA, I used to always recommend saying that whenever I take the session with the branch auditors of their respective bank, I used to say, please give us some time, because you are expecting some quality deliverance from us. Please give sufficient time. We are not asking inelastic time, but give us some sufficient time so that we can also contribute to the assurance. In the process, we also redeem ourselves, because today the responsibilities are very, very large on us. Unlike earlier period, especially when after Raghuram Rajan took over as the RBI governor, they brought on a concept called AQR, Asset Quality Review, which was never heard of earlier. It used to be called something as an annual inspection, then they converted that into a risk-based audit. Then RBI, they wanted to look at only on principles basis at a bank as a whole. Then suddenly they brought out AQR. And it became, it's like, you take a dagger and cut, chop, 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 chop. Every account is chopped and they decide unilaterally what is the quality of the asset. And all these assets which they reported upon it became bad because of the special dispensation given by the RBI themselves. And I had a very interesting discussion. I'm just taking you through some of the preambles so that all of us, we are on the same page to understand what is the responsibility for us and how complex situation it is and how best we can deliver during that time. Limited window that we have got. After all of us, if you are not a CSA, you get max 1 week. Do any of you get more than that? Then sir, Monday onwards, sir, when are you coming, sir? Because we want to report on Thursday. Correct? You will get calls right from branch manager to the general manager of audit. So the time is less and they are not giving. In fact, I used to suggest that we should give the appointment well in advance, and we should also facilitate in respect of large branches. The chartered accountant who has been allotted the audit should have a first-hand information of visiting the branch, preparing an audit plan well in advance before even 1st April cut-off. Go through the returns, go through basics, some documentation he can do. He can decide about how he should conduct his audit, then come and execute it during the 1 week. I think that's lost today. I don't know if this is the stress with which we have to work. I think we can't be expected to deliver. Most of us, we think that bank audit is a very remunerative work. That's what the RBI also thinks. Most of the senior management team of the bank, they think that so much money is being given. I think we have to be made to understand and realize saying that so little has been given for the responsibility that all of us we are taking. But if anything and everything which goes on the road, auditors are responsible. In fact, I used to jokingly say that Ganda and the Jada, first catch all of the auditor of that family. Because he is responsible. No questions asked. Anything happens in any industry, auditor is responsible. I don't know where this, I think the transformation from watchdog not washed out, blood out, not blood out. I don't know what is that expected of us today. We are supposed to be finding out the fraud which is not even visible, which is not even conducted. Otherwise, you are also a part of the fraud. So, the quality of the asset which goes down over a period of time, banker is not responsible. Today it becomes the responsibility of the auditor. How this account has become bad? Arey Baba, he is conducting the business, he has done a business, his technology may not be good, his sales tactics are not good, or his contract pricing was not good, he is not having margin, or he has overspent, whatever could be the reason. People don't want to accept that business can fail. The accountability has been completely shifted for the economic failure of the banks to the so-called auditors who visit the bank or branch not more than 1 week. How can we be irresponsible? I am not able to understand. But all of us, we are at the receiving end, we can only empathize with ourselves. And top to it, the LFAR is going through a undergone. In fact, earlier period when the RBI inspection used to be there, I am just putting the preamble so that we are able to realize and how best we can do. That's the only intention. I am not here to criticize anything because that's a system with which we have started, we are operating and we are working on it. So, asset quality is really, it has brought in very substantial change in the various aspects of an audit. Because earlier they themselves gave a special dispensation. Now they say that special dispensation is inappropriate. You should have seen the early warning signal. You should have classified this as a non-performing asset, or it has got an inherent weakness. You should have cautioned us. Why? Bankers reported in, there is something called, I don't know how many of you are being given a report called CRILC, C-R-I-L-C. There is one report which is supposed to be given that talks about SMA 0, SMA 1, SMA 2. They will not give. I can say with conviction, you go to any branch, you say which are all the accounts in SMA 0, SMA 1, SMA 2. This is something which they need to report on the criticality of the account beyond some 10 lakhs, 25 lakhs, 50 lakhs, so on and so forth. There is a gradation. SME there is a separate threshold. Non-SME there is a different threshold, and they are supposed to report on a periodical basis. But they don't make this available for the auditors. And how many of us we get the access to the database, direct database? Do we get it? Anything you ask them, they pull out a report and give it to you. And the report will be mostly in Excel. Correct? Most of the time it is the printed form which has been given, printed document which has been given. Sometimes they give the Excel soft copy. Let me caution you, if you do a simple checking of the totals, it will not tally. Sometimes even the document or data which is given to us is a structured thing. I mean, some of the things which is generally taken for granted, that if it is a computer generated report, total should tally, casting should be there, and it's a reproduction of what is there in the database. Those are all only assumptions which may or may not be true. So even we have to exercise a caution in respect of small little things like this. Even documentation wise, some of the documents which is being given to us may not be the complete story about it. With this criticality, I would like to go through how we can do. Am I with you, or am I talking something different? Because this is the challenges all of us we face. Day in, day out, especially during that small window of 2 weeks, correct? April, and April is another month, is full of holidays. So one region or another full of holidays, and we will be ending up doing so many reports. In fact, there is a minimum you have got to do statutory audit report, branch audit report, you have got to do a MOC. Most of the time MOC they don't sign also. So what is the option left to us? I think the best is that you prepare an MOC, if they don't sign it, send it to the CSA who is in charge of that particular zone or region or head office, as the case may be. That's all we can do. Even they refuse to sign. 2, that MOC has got now, each bank follows its own format. Somebody will say MOC 1, MOC 2, MOC 3, MOC 4. I used to get baffled about what is MOC 1 and 2. They said one is income, another is expenditure. One is income and expenditure or P&L. 2 is about the advances portfolio. Then what is 3 and 4? The classification and the provisioning. And again, provision also. It's not everything contained in your books. The branch that wherever you are going, do all the provisions of every account is reflected in your books? Most of the time provisions are being held elsewhere. And the Basel II, the capital adequacy norms. Some banks follow at the branch level, some banks follow at the head office level. Even interest application, it is either directly inputted from the head office, sometimes it is inputted from the branch. There might be a delay between the implementation process. So some of these are all big challenges for us because we don't know whether the interest has been computed correctly, right? Because the notification must have been issued by the RBI on one day, then that is assimilated by the bank, then it is centrally put into some Finacle. Most of us we use Finacle, excepting maybe few banks like SBI and somebody, they are using their own software, Finacle. And in the Finacle they update it. You won't get to know date on which it has been updated. In fact, RBI has come out very strongly saying that Finacle should also capture the modification history. In the previous version of Finacle, that was not there. So which day it has been applied, zone-wise would have been applied on a different day. Or if it is being authorized again at the branch level, the authorization date is different than the application date, so interest calculation becomes different. And Finacle is supposed to provide some 40 and odd reports, exception reports, which is only useful for the auditors. But how many of us we are able to lay hands on that 40 and odd reports? I'm sure if anyone lifts their hand, I'll be very pleased which bank that they are talking about. We don't get to see most of the reports which are all inbuilt into the Finacle, inbuilt into the ERP solutions that the banks have got, but we don't get it. For example, interest not applied. There's a report which comes. Interest which is more than the previous quarter, you can generate it. Closed accounts, we can get a report. Everything where penal interest has been charged due to cost-wise. Is it because of the stock statement has not been given, or because of certain documentations have not been completed, or because of sanction limits have not been done, so on so forth. You can get. Another interesting place where most of us we are baffled, at least as a central statutory auditors, doing a branch level, I used to be baffled. You go and ask them, yesterday interest impairment which has happened in the rescheduled account, CDR or whatever, CDR mechanism or non-CDR mechanism, interest sacrifice. How it is being computed? Sir, namu gottilla sir. At the head of the statement barte sir. So what are we supposed to comment on that? Is this interest sacrifice is being properly computed? Because after all, it's based on the transaction which is there in the branch books. So interest sacrifice has to be computed with reference to that. How this is being computed? Very difficult to understand. Otherwise, somebody spends enormous time to do that reconciliation and find out how the interest accuracy is. I'm just trying to pinpoint certain areas where we are not in a position to do the audit through computer, but we are doing the audit around computer. Even though the system is there, Finacle has been there for last minimum at least 15 to 20 years. And same database, same thing, everything is the same. In fact, some banks follow saying that even the classification of advances and provisioning, everything thereon, is they prepare another Excel sheet. In fact, Punjab National Bank used to have one more layer of their own software which used to sit on the Finacle. And that will generate another report. That is the basis of provisioning norms, IRAC norms to be followed. That is the basis on which even CRA is to be, Basel capital adequacy is to be computed. And most of the banks don't ask the branch auditors to do the computation of capital adequacy. Do any of your banks follow capital adequacy as being provided at the branch level? Details? Do any of you get it? It has become a part of central function. So in this context, what am I going to talk about? Special conditions, and I have also been given with a responsibility of special branches. I was a little confused with the title. Maybe I thought probably that is the residual title which was available for me. Because first day, second day, third day, fourth day. I think we are on the fifth day, right? So maybe that was the only topic which was left. Maybe it's a residual, or this is a recalculation of the all. So I took it as myself saying that it's a recalculation of all the 4 days thing. Let me try to discuss with you, run with you, and see that where are we, what is the absorption which has happened, is there anything which needs to be fine-tuned. So let us have a participative discussion. Wherever you want to stop me, please stop me and ask me. If I know something, straight away I will tell you. If I don't know something, I will always refer back and get back to you with the details. Is that fine with all of you?
Yes.
Okay. So I have taken this as a recalculation session rather than a fresh information. Okay. Not too comfortable. Okay. This is just generally to, not to sensationalize you, but to sensitize you. That's all, nothing more. Nothing more to be seen from there. Because increasing NPA. Because 5 years back somebody said, no, banks are all doing great. Everybody said, yeah, economic growth is out of whack. But on the same logic, why the economy is doing badly? The banks are doing badly. It's not the banks are doing badly because the economy is doing badly. People think that economy is doing badly, that's why banks are doing badly. Which is not correct. Because banks should do by independently, they are supposed to be the drivers of economy. That means if they have done their homework, I'm sure there might be some chartered accountants who are from the banking industry too. But nevertheless, they are also at stress, saying that, okay, do this, make advances, then it should be a good advance. That there is an uptake of advance. It's not happening. Okay, just to give you, and huge frauds are being reported. And if I go through one of the news channel, they say today a discussion on this particular IBC or this particular restructuring. Every day some 10 accounts, 15 accounts are being added to this. I don't know, it's like an Akshay Patra. That means today we think that all accounts are bad. Is that so? In which case, why so many accounts were not bad earlier period? Suddenly everything becomes infected with badness? No. They are all in the system. Maybe it has crossed beyond of this. That's all. It's filtered out. Okay? Okay, appointment formalities, I don't want to just run through too much. This is just to give a feel that I want to emphasize more on planning rather than execution, because planning is within us. If you plan a detailed manner, execution will be faster. Only just to give that, this material is available, you can run through it at leisure. And this is about tramples and what are all the details that you should collect. Even I insisted that you should have an audit planning document, audit planning memorandum, which will talk about on a quarterly basis what is the movement of various critical parameters of a branch. It could be a deposit branch, it could be a forex branch, it could be a advances branch, it could be any one of these things. So you can build your own key parameters, then put it on a quarterly basis. You will know where the growth has happened, what is the reason for this growth or determined as a negative growth, and you can select your samples from that. Because obviously all of us, we can't do 100% verification of all the things, all the transactions which have been done on 365 days. So just to give you a planning document, we have just given all these things. Okay, why this slide has been brought in? Most of us, we used to feel that bank audit, especially the bank management used to say, many of the accounting standards are not applicable to us. Revenue recognition, people used to account it on cash basis, right? Most of the income which has been received on account on cash basis. And then they never used to publish the accounting policy. Now they are all come to a seamless manner that RBI has clearly clarified every accounting standard more or less is applicable, including lease, accounting standard, everything. Of course, there is only one small, of course, not small, is a major difference. Ind AS is to be applied to the banking industry from 1/4/2019. That's what the original roadmap said way back in 2016. But as recently as last week, they have published a notification saying that it's going to be deferred. I don't know whether it's deferred eternally or substantially, or for the present it has been deferred for 3 quarters, because September 2016 we converted the financial statements in Ind AS, because Ind AS financial instrument is a major impacting standard for banking industry. So when that was done, I think probably government in its wisdom realized that they need to pump in huge amount as a recapitalization for maintaining the capital adequacy. It's 12% and 12 and 8, 9. So to maintain that, they had to pump in. As you see that every quarter they seem to be pumping around 90,000 crores, 60,000 crores as recapitalization. So if India's financials have been drawn, I think these numbers looks very minuscule. So maybe that is the reason why they have postponed it. It's a topic by itself, it's a big topic. So no Ind AS standards are applicable as of today for bank. We can rest our case with that. Okay. So having said that, most of the accounting standards, earlier accounting standards are applicable to the bank, including AS9 its original avatar, not Ind AS avatar, not Ind AS 115. No, they are not applicable to us. What is applicable to the commercial organization? So nothing called cash accounting, system of accounting. Of course, we don't have to compute that internal rate of return. In other commercial sector, you might be computing internal rate of return. For example, the processing fee plus interest realized has to be equated in a period tenor of the thing, and you have to do for a commercial organization. That's not required. But still, you have to follow accrual system of accounting. So when so many accounting standards are applicable, so many standards on auditing is also applicable. So I just wanted to just impress upon you saying that most of the accounting standards are applicable. Most of the standards on auditing are also applicable for us, which means materiality, audit sampling, audit planning, quality control for audit work. Even whenever the peer review happens, they can look for this, and if you are not being compliant in your documentation, you are inadequate. And one big debate was going on in the industry, banking industry. I'm sure that has been set at rest now because of the change in the report. I think I will take you the format of the audit report which has to be issued now. This has been changed current year. One major change which has been brought in, which most of us we were debating, is that there is no IFC is applicable, because IFC is something called, it's a part of Companies Act 2013. It's something a new coinage of name in 2013 Companies Act. So most of the banking industry is excluded from that. So IFC is not applicable. This was the view which was taken. So towards that they never used to do any test of controls. Test of process, test of controls, nothing was used to be done in the banking industry. But you will see sometime later, the audit report contains a clause today that you are supposed to comment upon internal financial statement. I just want to leave this thought with you. If you want to interject now and ask me a question, I will be willing to take it. Or you want to wait till you see the report, then also it's fine with me. So IFC is very much applicable. So IFC has to be incorporated in our working papers also, that we have also tested certain transactions with the process. That means you have to create a documentation for the process, then test of controls with the samples that you have selected, and what is your resultant of that. You need to record it and keep it in your file, and that is the basis on which you can issue a report. Am I making myself clear? So it's no longer saying that IFC is wrong number as far as the bank audit is concerned, because report incorporates. Okay, reporting requirements, it has undergone a little bit of small change in 700 revised, 705 revised, 706. Let me not bore you with that, because all of you are more familiar in that than me. So the revised format is to be around. Okay, not much of a change has happened in respect of LFR. Unfortunately, it's the same good old LFR as being used. Though I personally feel that there is a lot of redundant paragraphs which should be modified. One, as an experience or as a CSA, I just want to tell you, the bank LFR versus the branch LFR is not coinciding with each other. Bank LFR is slightly a different format than the branch LFR. To that extent, I think there is a little fair amount of coordination has to be done, which is unfortunate. Bank, it's not correct. Because after all, the functions for consolidation of the number which is flowing from the branches to the head office level, so also LFR, which is the report, should also emanate from the branch reports and get consolidated, but in reality it is not happening so. Another classic example of what I can say that is, I'm sure all of you will be signing one report called Ghosh and Jilani, right? For first time when that was introduced, and first year of that reporting, as a CSA I was responsible for consolidation. Ghosh and Jilani way back in 2007-8 times when I did the PNB. I realized that I did not understand most of it. Let me be honest about it. I did not understand most of it, and I stand before you today that I don't understand even today. There are a lot of questions are being asked, a lot of answers are being given. Is that answers are to the question or something else? Because Ghosh and Jilani, unfortunately, branch is supposed to generate originally. There was no certification by the statutory auditors, branch auditors. Somewhere down the line, they started introducing this as a part of a certification where we need to certify. Because it talks about so many IT controls which are there in the bank. some KYC controls in the bank. Some of these things used to be discussed. That 25 questions plus some 14 or 15 questions which is there in the Jilani. Ghosh is one person and Jilani is another person. Actually both of them, one of them are supposed to have been a PNB chairman, and that's how it was coined. It was meant to serve some purpose. I'm not sure whether is he serving any purpose today, because somewhere I saw that raise for relevance. That's what it's given there. Visharada, raise for relevance. Is that reports are relevant today? I'm not sure. Most of us we fill it up mechanically, and if we try to map this to that consolidated report, it will never match. So in head office level there is another report which is being generated independent of any of your reports. It's very unfortunate, but that's the way it's going on. Many of the certificates are also, numbers are being pulled out of head office numbers or Finacle numbers. So to that extent I feel that assurance is being diluted, and it gives more risk for anybody who is doing that CSA level, because he has to justify where he got his numbers from and why there is no reconciliation between numbers reported upon by the branch versus your number. So it becomes a big challenge. Another major area, there is no LFR for a treasury operations. Is any of you have done a treasury operations? Incidentally, treasury operations are not being considered as a branch at all, and nobody gets paid for it. Neither CSA nor the branch auditors, nobody gets paid for it. We fought with RBI also during all the three terms. They said there is no fees for them, but it has got a huge volume. The transaction levels in the treasury operations and risk is very, very, very high. Most of the banks today, they are all reporting profits just because the treasury is doing well. Last 4-5 quarters they have not been reporting profits because treasury did not do well. So banking profit mostly comes not from advances portfolio but from a treasury portfolio. But there is no LFR from the branch auditor because there is no branch. Like ARMB branch you have got a, in fact one of the topic that I need to talk about is specialized branches. In that LFR itself recognizes, bank itself recognizes there are only 4 types of specialized branches. What are they? A branch which is operating a forex operations, both domestic and foreign currency denominated forex derivatives. 2 is ARMB branch, large advances branch like industrial finance branch or Bagheera, etc. The 4th is services branch, who do the services of clearing operations, checks itself there is one branches. So they are all the 4 branches which have been recognized as a specialized branch. How on the earth the treasury which handles such a large volume, which generate nearly the whole of profits of the bank, is not a branch? I fail to understand. If anybody in the gathering can enlighten me, I'll be more than happy that it has served a purpose for me to know what I never knew all this 30 years. So there is no LFR for treasury operations as a branch. In the LFR in the head office, as a CSA, there is one segment which is on investments. So this is a sort of a mismatch in the reporting and consolidation basis. I just thought, let me just leave the thought to you. Okay? Yeah, these are all the various reports which we generate and give. Yeah, this is something, especially first 1 or 2 points I want to touch upon, otherwise all of you are knowledgeable about it. Most of the time when we get the, of course, I am talking all my experiences as a CSA, and I have done a branch audit as a part of CSA. I have not done branch audit per se, branch excepting last few years as a cooling period thing. Okay, so most of the time we think that if I reported something in LFAR, it is part of my report. It is not so. For the simple reason, there is a timing difference. Bank audit report gets consolidated, or numbers get consolidated, gets reported upon by May itself. Whereas LFAR, the time available is to before August. So most of the time the LFAR formats are being dusted and taken up after the main report has been signed off. If you think that you have reported in LFAR about certain advances where you think that it should catch the attention of CSA, it's positively it's going to be missed. Please, if you want to report something to, if it is impacting true and fair view or the classification, IRAC norms are not being followed, please put it in the main report. Even if at the cost of repetition, you want to include it in the LFAR, very good, no problem. Because LFAR that's the place where you have to report upon. But it is not a substitution for your main report. Am I making myself very clear? Please, whatever you want to communicate, whatever it's impacting your true and fair view of the branch which you are doing, please don't hesitate not to put it in the main report. Heaven's sake, please do it in the main report. LFAR, please do it additionally. Okay, that's the only point which I just want to impress upon. Can I take assurance from all the people around here is saying that okay, I will not be lazy not to put it in the main report. Can we take that? Because tomorrow it's going to strengthen your case. I put it in LFAR, then that's not an excuse. Tomorrow even peer reviewer can also say that you have not concluded your opinion paragraph properly. That is where essays come in. Essay says you are supposed to form an opinion and deliver an opinion. It may be right, it may be wrong, but you are supposed to give an opinion. You can't avoid giving an opinion just because you put something in LFAR. Even peer reviewer who is going to visit you, all of you, they are going to visit one point of or other, and he is not going to take it low because the quality standards also prescribe saying that it has to be in main report. The opinion paragraph has to be clear, unambiguous, and again now the 705 has been modified in such a way how the opinion should be drafted. They have re-changed it. There are three types of opinion, what are each classes of opinion means, and how it should be worded. All this are been given. Okay? Please, whatever you want to do, please give it in the mail. Simultaneously, I just want to impress upon you, every transaction is not being captured in the branch. Whatever it is not being captured in the branch, if you feel it is impacting the true and fair view, please say that this has not been verified by us. For example, bonus. It may be a statutory bonus. None of us we capture it in the branch level. Or most of the banks don't say that this is the bonus you have to provide in your books. Is anybody does it? Bonus you are not providing. Then interest on cross-charging. Central office to branch. If you are a deposit branch, you collect the interest from them. If you are an advances branch, you give out the interest to them. So these are memorandum transaction, and nobody does a verification of that because it's in the final balance sheet this does not appear at all. Correct? It's a nullifying impact. But nevertheless, in your balance sheet, in your P&L, this is a large amount, and that amount you have not verified. Correct? Please say that I have not verified. They are not going to take that off. Don't take responsibility what you have not done inadvertently. That's all I am trying to drive home. What you have not done, please say so. Some organization depreciation is not being, some banks depreciation is being centrally passed. So you may not have a depreciation entry in your books. Even capitalization entry is very Most of the banks I have gone through that capitalization entry is rotten. Advances.
But we
It
take
will be like, yes sir?
we take postings in the management responsibilities.
Management, yeah, I'm going to come to that. Management responsibility is only a documentation for your review, peer review. It is not a substitution of audit report. If you take something in the management representation letter, does not mean you have disclaimed that your opinion. Is it so? Management representation is in addition to the report. Report is what you are giving it as an opinion. In that there are certain items which is impacting true and fair view which you have not reviewed. Maybe the details are not available, maybe information is not available, maybe as a practice it is being followed at head office level, whatever could be the reason. But please be specific. Let us not be lazy in drafting the audit report saying that this is not being done by us because we were given to understand this has been taken care of by somebody else. At least that will serve two purposes. One, you are clear and ambiguous. Two, if somebody wants to verify it at his level, he has got a chance to verify. If you say I verified everything, he will presume, he will say everything. Everything includes nothing also. Please don't leave ambiguity in the report. Management representation, I will deal with that also. Most of the banks, in fact there is a FAQ is also released now. Most of the banks, especially the branch level, they refuse to give an engagement letter. Yes? Because you have been appointed by RBI, you have been appointed through the RBI appointment, it has been appointed by the head office of the bank and you are conducting the audit. But how many of us we have an engagement letter in our file? Can we say with conviction all of us we have, or I don't have? I suppose all of you, do you have?
Yes.
Most of the bank management,
I have. Last time I have taken last 2 years.
with lot of persuasion only he will sign. Sir, namge helila sir. Nee bartira gottu. Namna ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಬಂದು ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಒಂದು ಬೊಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಗುರು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಎಂಗೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಲೆಟರ್ ಕೊಡಿ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಟ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಎಂಗೇಜ್ ಫಾರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೈ ಸ್ಕೋಪ್ ಐ ನೋ ದಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೈ ಸ್ಕೋಪ್ ಈಸ್ ದಟ್ ದ ಸ್ಕೋಪ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಬೀನ್ ಅಗ್ರೀಡ್ ಅಪಾನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಬೋತ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು ದಿಸ್ all becomes a documentation importance. Both of us we know each other what we need to do, but document does not speak for it. And IFC, there is one big dictum which has been given in the IFC, the guidance note. What is not documented, what to say, is not done. That means you don't have an engagement letter, it tantamount to that you have not done an audit as per the agreed engagement. You have done an audit, you have issued an audit report, you have collected the fees. But what is the engagement is all about? Is the engagement include certification? Does the engagement include tax audit? Does the engagement include LFAR? Does the engagement include is only in respect of 70, 700, 705, 710? What is that we have been engaged for? So unless we get into a mode of confirming, because they will not easily give. So also management representation, most of the banks don't give. Most of the branches don't give. Very few enlightened, or if the manager, you may tell the manager, I am not going to sign your report without you giving me management representation. I don't want to threaten people, but that's the only one which works. Or you should ask somebody from head office to talk to him saying that, okay, please give the management representation. Why at the bank level itself we are finding it difficult to get a management representation letter? And if you don't have a management representation letter, your peer reviewer is going to, your own colleague is going to question you. What is the representation? What is the assumptions on which you are drawn? Financial statements are being drawn on a certain framework, right? The framework is being spelled out in a management representation letter. If they don't sign it, how are you safe? I'm not trying to sensationalize the issue. I'm trying to sensitize the issue. That's all. All of us, we live in the same problem. But somehow we have to cut the ice with them and get it. Because time constraint is there. He also got, he wants to see us back out of his office as soon as possible. We also want to complete it, otherwise it doesn't make any sense to do that audit at that low price with so much of responsibility. Despite all those things, there are certain things essentially we have to do. There is no choice about it. Let us spend more time on that rather than have I completed 99 accounts instead of 100 accounts or 98 accounts instead of 100 accounts. We can even say that these are all the samples which I have checked, these are all the, that will come to your rescue. As long as you have properly documented and there is no negligence on that, I am sure every professional will agree saying that you use your judicial understanding of it and you have obtained the process, you have done the process where negligence is not there. Because we have to protect ourselves, nobody is going to protect us. And that too with the ever-changing, RBI is directly questioning the branch auditors. Earlier they never used to visit a branch also, unless there is a very, very large branch. Today RBI is directly sending the letter to the branch auditors. If one particular account is being found as fraud some 20 years later, immediately send a letter to the statutory auditor, branch auditor saying that, how did you deal with this? Please give your working paper. And we are not sure whether we should give a working paper to somebody other than your peer reviewer. Because the standard says that we are not, working paper is a property of auditor and nobody can take a copy of that. At best he can take an extract of that, including a peer reviewer, including a quality reviewer. There is something called QRB report, Quality Review Board, who is being appointed by the central government. Even he can only take an extract and not copy of your report, a copy of the working paper. So we have got challenges everywhere. Regulatory challenges are large. So let us keep our papers in order and index it properly so that you will be able to refer back it tomorrow. Because doing the work is one portion of it, documenting and preserving it and retrieving it, that becomes most important thing. That's what I want to impress upon you. Right? That's what it comes out of my grey hair. Nothing more. Otherwise you know auditing better than me.
So for how many years we have to keep?
Oh, that's a great question, for which I myself are debating. Somewhere they said, originally the Companies Act 1956 used to talk about 8 years. Income tax, I don't know. Today I hear income tax is talking about 16 years. Today income tax department, I am sure that all of you know pretty well income tax has been invested with more authority. I won't call it as more responsibility, more authority. So they can simply write to the institute saying, okay, this such and such working paper has not been given to me, though it is within 16 years. Earlier it used to be a revision, rectification, blah blah, everything used to have a timeline, 4 years, 8 years and all. Now last I hear is 16 years up to which they can ask for it. So I don't know who is the agency to whom I am going to report, I don't know. But in the Companies Act 2013 they are talking about 6 years. Again, Companies Act 2013, is it applicable for a banking industry? Is another debate. So unfortunately papers are the only asset of us, because that's what is going to stand at the good time, good state whenever there is a problem. So I would say that minimum 6, preferable 8. Beyond that, I don't think we will be creating only a go-down space, not a working space. I'm sure all of us, we have got this challenge about it. Maybe you have to create a digitized environment and keep it in. Choices are less. So 8 years is fine. If I am a peer reviewer of you, I will say 8 years. Beyond that, I am not.
Okay, that is a reasonable time.
That's all.
Then the 16 is not whether it is mentioned in IT Act or rules. They are what?
No, IT Act, there's one section which talks about somebody who has got a foreign asset, they can go back to 16 assessments years. This is what I was given to understand. I don't practice Income Tax Act, but I was given to understand that they have got a right to ask anything. Any regulatory. Why income tax? Any regulatory.
If tax evasion or something is more than particular amount.
No, there is no such thing.
6 years only.
No, there is no rhyme or rationale for any one of these things. Which weapon which is going to be used at, a Brahmastra is going to be used at killing even a rat also, I don't know. It can be. It depends on the user, not depends on the animal. Why do you require such a big armory for killing a rat? You require only mouse trap. But today government and any regulatory, they will use whatever at their disposal, and they have got enormous powers. As the Finance Act changes year by year, I feel the more authority is being given to the regulator. So also SFIO, so also various people, any regulatory around us is becoming more and more powerful. Though Companies Act 2013 is brought in to modify, rationalize, simplify, transparency being created so that it's a self-governance. That's what I was given to understand when 2013 Act was promulgated, because it has been there from Companies Amendment Bill 2009, 10, 11, 12, they didn't again pass, 13 it became an Act. That too overnight, 30th March, suddenly it became an Act. Then everybody was caught unaware. Then they gave 1 year extension to 14 onwards. 1/4/2014 onwards is implemented. So, and still the Act is undergoing a change. So we don't know where we are heading to. So some of these challenges are real. I'm not trying to terrorize you because I'm not going to get any merit out of it because I am also a terrored person. So let us be living with the reality and try to modulate ourselves. That's all. And fraud, the government is asking about fraud reporting very vastly. If you are not able to respond about a fraud report, or if you are not able to give the answer that regulators are looking at, that itself is considered as a fraudulent act. Or you are also perpetrated a fraud. How will you have all the information about what happened in somewhere? You are supposed to have, because your working paper is there, no? In fact, somebody asked, no, auditors will know everything. Auditors will know something which has been told to him. How will he know about the one constituent who has borrowed money from one bank? How will he know? He may not know. But people, regulators don't think so. You are supposed to know everything. How? Why? I don't know. Auditor to refer relevant circulars issued by the controlling authority. Of course, fortunately, number of circulars which have been issued has come down. I don't know why. Every year used to be a master circular. Last master circular which has been issued is 2015. And every time the circular used to be issued in somewhere February, March of the respective year. 2015 is the last master circular. Afterwards, it's only an amendment to that, amendment to that. That's about it. I will deal with the circulars also, which I feel is very important. Okay, I think special consideration for audit of branches. This is only a recapitulation of that. I don't know what's the time that I got. Well within time. Yeah, it's only 3:30. Maybe because I am not able to bifurcate or differentiate between a special consideration of an audit of a branches versus audit of a special branches. I think it's only an extrapolation of some activity in a larger scale. That's all I will see, because advances is there in every branch. Consideration for an advance in a normal branch versus a specialized branch is one and the same. I don't know why we have bifurcated this into two topics, but nevertheless, let me try to justify in a manner in which I feel is appropriate. Okay, this is why I first sentence my says, this is the 3 or 4 slides only I am going to deal with it. Rest of the ground known to you. I am going to take questions from you to know anything further. Okay, at the cost of repetition, the following points are emphasized. Please don't tell me that you already told me, don't bore me. Because that's why I said it's a cost of repetition, because this is the only one which is going to save us. Various reports, because innumerous reports are coming. Some we know, some we do not. Inspection report, income report, fraud report, RBI inspection report, concurrent audit report, computerization report, so many and so forth. And incidentally, this is one thing which I wanted to leave the thought to you guys, you people is, one, most of the, I'm sure, majority of the branches became a CAS branch or financial branch, whatever you call, computerized information system branch. 2017, 18. But lot of bugs were there. Even today they are grappling with various issues. 2018-19 also, I am sure any of the bank that with which you are dealing with, as a bank, as a constituent, you must have been dealing with your SBI account or whatever it is. System crash sir, work sir, hang ಇದೆ, all this you will hear on a periodical day-to-day basis. Even today, I was trying to do something at office saying, okay, this RTGS has been done. Salary has to be dispersed to the employees. They said, sir, system hang ಇದೆ sir, ಎಷ್ಟು ದಿನ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ sir. I said, boss, 31st March, all of us we are doing a cash accounting and we have to disperse the salary before 31st March. What do you say? ಆಗುತ್ತೆ sir, ನೋಡೋಣ. ಅದು head office ನಾವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ sir, ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ sir. So, even today, though most of them are migrated to legacy system to Finacle or enterprise system, we are caught up with the bugs. It may be because the not proper stress test has been done. I'm sure you have, I thought you had another big session on CAS environment, audit of CAS branches, I think 2 days back.
Yes.
Somebody saw it. There's a 4-hour session. Somebody took a computerized environment. What is the audit to be followed? One thing which I fail to understand, or maybe I have not noticed also in most of the banks which I have done the audit, that there is no data migration and audit is being done. So people have moved from one system to another system. Is the data which has been migrated from one to another, is it valid? Is it complete? Is it comprehensive? Is it possible to be retrieved the same manner in which it has been inputted? Sometimes it's a block entries are going. And some places data migration date is being taken as the date of advance. How ridiculous it can be. So there is no audit which has been conducted either by the service provider who has done a data migration, nor by the banking people. So to some extent I feel that it becomes, whether we like it or not, it becomes our responsibility to see that data that we are validating for our audit, is it a valid? Is it behaving itself consistently? After all, what is the data audit is supposed to be? Is all information has been migrated in an appropriate manner? It is consistent? It gives a consistent result? And it is retrievable? So, maybe you may have to do a data migration in respect of the branches where it has been allotted to you. A small, quick data migration audit has to be done. Whether it is a part of your scope, engagement, RBI appointment or not. Because it is to establish yourself a confidence level. I think it's in our own interest that we should do a very quick data migration audit if that branch has undergone a migration during the year. Any difference of opinion in this? Is it required, not required? Is it, yeah? Is it relevant, not relevant? Because it to safeguard our interest. Because what is the data that we are relying upon? Is it reasonably tested by me and I come to the conclusion this is a valid data. Or if it is not valid, if it is not consistent, it is better that we report it. And please add one more sentence, one more in the report saying that as a suggestion saying that data migration audit should be conducted so that you have a cushioning effect also. It's not only you drive the car with a seat belt but also you have got a airbag. That's all I'm trying to drive home here. Audit planning, I think I have explained quite a bit. I have said please spend some time on audit planning document because that is going to be, it's like a blueprint when you start constructing house. It's a blueprint which can be given to the mason because mason is not equipped to do beyond whatever he knows. So, but the blueprint will be there so that you know. For example, when you construct a house without a blueprint, suddenly you will have to do a little bit of different plumbing activity or some repair has happened. You will not have a plan of plumbing. You will not have electrical plan. I'm sure all of us we understand what is the relevance of electrical plan because tomorrow you don't know which switch is where or where is it junction box, where is it connected, how do I tap more connection from there. If you have an electrical plan you will get it. If you don't have anything, it's a problem. So also in audit planning, when you have to retrieve your documents and give it to somebody for a verification or when you're done, this is the plan I started, this is what I modified it, this is how I brought my documents, I selected this document, these are all my observations, these are all the observations which have been resolved in this manner and unresolved observations finds a place in my report and these are all my observations on LFAR. If you are not able to spread it out clearly, tomorrow you yourself will not be able to live through because memory is short. 3 years later who will remember all these things? So please prepare the document in a proper manner so that it is indexed properly and audit planning is being done properly. I can send an audit plan document which is otherwise generally we use for it, but right now I have not got it because a little bit of proprietary into that. You have to identify the risk. What is the risk? For example, suddenly the spurt of advances have grown or NPA levels have gone up in that batch. I'm sure there is a reports which have been sent on a monthly basis, quarterly basis. This is all the stress stressors, this is all the critical advances, this is all the advances which is likely to become bad. Management sends it. You get out of those reports, if you can lay your hands, and then from there, that is the risk. And that risk evaluation, why I say it is important for starting the audit is because I need to again take you to the audit report. Today we have to talk about something called CAM. Many of you, this will sound little inappropriate. Key audit matters. In our report, in the branch audit, we are supposed to talk about key audit matters. And this key audit matters is supposed to be given by the CSA of the bank. Because what is a key audit matter for your branch, if it is a service branch or if it is the AR&B, if it is the industrial finance branch, is not the same for a regular branch. Correct? So you need to identify in your own manner that what is the key audit matters and why you consider that as a key audit matter and what is that needs to be reported. How did you come to the conclusion that key audit matters have been resolved comprehensively, risk is mitigated or exposure is less. So, risk is a starting point, key audit matter is the ending point, it's of the same yardstick. So, it is better that we identify it well in advance rather than after the audit is complete. That's the only thing that which I want to take you through. Because this was not there last year. There is nothing called key audit matter in the last year. When I show you the audit report, it will be visible over there. Then review of capital advances in the books along with the capitalization. What I mean is that most of the time advances are being paid, the asset has been put to use some years back. Sir, approval agilla sir. Computer will be there for which advance would have been paid. Advance will be lying in suspense account. Asset will be put to use. Approval agilla, so I am not depreciated. Beautiful. So capitalization theory does not work for the banks most of the time. I have learnt it the hard way because even in head office level something called general administration department which is supposed to be, and some banks call it in a different nomenclature. General administration department says they are blissfully in a different league. They will say IS asset is not part of the bank's asset. That is IS department. As if they know capitalization. He knows operations of the asset. He doesn't know about capitalization. So it is neither here nor there. Somebody will capitalize on some day. Though it's been put to use much earlier. So that's why I said review of advances is, capital advances is very relevant because it will impact you in your balance sheet. Especially if it is a new premises where you have shifted over, a lot of computing facility has been created. Some of these things become the key review points in the branch. Okay, review of accounting policies in respect of income recognition of the banks, deviations to standards, cash system accounting, one-time accounting. I'm sure all of you are aware of it. I'm just trying to emphasize about it. Review of expenditure and provisioning not accounting at the branch level and repeat reporting thereon. Whatever items which have not been accounted in the branch books, report saying that this has not been reviewed by me, this has not been accounted by me. Review of large advances, sanctioning, documentation, monitoring, conduct of the account and IRAC norms. I don't have any further explanation other than usual procedures which we follow. But these are all special considerations for any branch. Review of critical advances. Critical advances, what I mean is which is the one which is sliding down, or if there is a huge cash accumulation closer to the NPA date. Accommodation which has happened in the books. The amount has been deposited during last week of March and you may not know April it has been withdrawn. And at the head office level we pull all those accounts. Large advances where it was in the critical statement and it is not there in NPA. We try to see why it is not there in that list. Then find out the operations of the account not only up to 31st March but also up to 31st May. Till the last date when we are signing. We know what happened to that. That money would have gone back. A to B, B to C, C to E. All these are all accommodation. And economy is stressed out. So that's why the account has become stressed out. And thus stress is being passed on to us without knowing, without our knowledge. So let us not be ignorant about it. Please review through the accounts. If large chunk of money has come in or some, that too, it comes in a very innovative way. LC amount comes in. Some other bank will remit to you. And you will know that that bank would have been furnished the amount 1 week later. Some associate concern will give it to you. What is the business relationship to you? So, or even export realization. There is no such export would have happened. Or they are all booked in. Many innovative way things will happen. So we have to be guarded against not normal banking problems but a fraudulent action. So that's a higher plane. So we have to equip ourselves, there is no choice about it. I can't live blissfully If that is the case, you would not have had Nirav Modis of this world. Right? Today banks are, more than banks, it is being, auditors who are being responsible. These checks could have been done. Ashwamedha happened, these checks could have been done. Right? Time immemorial, RBI used to have that SGL. When the whole money vanished, suddenly they said, why this has not been looked into, why this was not controlled. I don't know, recently there was a news item saying that some 6 banks have been penalized, some 29 crores or 19 crores, big numbers. I don't remember the numbers, but very big numbers saying that for non-implementation of not KYC norms, non-implementation of this Nostro, this documentation, this SBLC, very famous thing, standby letter of credit, which doesn't come. I mean, off-balance sheet item becomes much more important to be reviewed than the on-balance sheet item. That's the criticality today. We are all used to reviewing the on-balance sheet item. Today, off-balance sheet item required to be reviewed, much more larger, much more review, and even authority level, so many things have to be reviewed. Because authorization levels for non-fund based limits is slightly larger than fund based limit at the various operating level things. But nevertheless, SBLC is not even a non-fund based limit. That is where the whole, enormity of the numbers are very mind-boggling, very threatening. So we have to be caught up with technology. SWIFT. That SWIFT has not been implemented by some of the banks. The revised SWIFT mechanism, messaging mechanism has not been implemented, and that is why the RBI has fined that 5 banks, if I remember rightly, 5 banks have been fined to the extent of 19 crores, not 1 rupee, 19 crores. And I'm sure every branch that any one of us we do the audit, there will be a SWIFT messaging will be there. And it will not even come to our knowledge also. Every branch that we do, there will be a treasury operations. Many of the branches, okay, I won't call it as every branch. Treasury operations will be there in many branches. You will not be even getting know, because we are all focused like a kudre dara, advances, deposit. Stay. The other day, but unfortunately, threat is other than this known thing. Contingent liability, very important thing. In fact, one of the banks, when we had to do the legal cases, legal review, that department was allowed to us. What is there in legal department? What is there? Then we realized that there were almost close to 140, 150 premises where the dispute is at the court level, high court level, in respect of rentals. And they have been operating in that same premises for the last minimum more than 2 years. And we know, most of us, we know that the precedents and whatever the legal decision which comes subsequently, it's always in favor of them, correct? And you can't move out, vacate that place and move out because you have been doing business for so long there. So most of them agree for a revised fee, Tenantment Act, because of agreed fee. So we had to take a very hard call saying that 30% of the disputed amount has to be provided as a contingency provision because AS 29 requires you. How many of, and when we told this, they said AS 29 is not applicable for banking industry, sir. I said, where they got this? Am I okay? This disturbing me more. Oh, I'll keep. AS 29 is not applicable for bank. I said, please show me where the circular. Then I had to pull out a circular showing that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these are all these sections, these are all the accounting standards are not applicable for a banking industry. By default, all other standards are applicable. One of that standard is AS 29. So you have to make a contingent liability provision in respect of rental. So also employee dispute. Increments have not been paid, somebody has been suspended, so on and so forth and all. How many of us we quantify? It may not be available in the branch level, but all documents may be available in the branch level. At some point of time, we need to trigger off saying that no such provision has been made in respect of legal cases where the claim has been so much. This needs to be taken care of and off. That's all. I'm not trying to say that you sit on judgment trying to say that what should be provided. At least you need to escalate saying that this has not been provided. So, to drive home saying that off balance sheet item merits your attention more than on balance sheet item. Because on balance sheet item is visible. Off balance sheet item is transparent. Okay. Then review of critical advance, review of SME classification, relaxation, special dispensation. Okay, there is a circular which has been released in I think 7th February 2018. A copy of which is available with me. Though it was released in 18, the implementation of that became substantially clear and visible during the current year, 18-19. I'm sure branches would have been given some circulars from the head office as to how SME classification has to be done. There is a substantial relaxation has been given. It can continue to be a standard asset. In case of if it is SME, that too if it is GST registered, there is a GST. Again, one more circular was released with reference to that circular. If a particular entity is exempted from a GST, even they can also be considered as a registered SME. Okay, there are two circulars have been given. It's in February 7th and February 12th. I'm sure all of us we can go to the net and see. And please keep this in mind when you make the provision, because there the relaxation has been given on one side, but it should be, even as a standard asset, you should be providing a higher accelerated provisioning. So that is important. So provisioning for standard assets have not been done, though relaxation has been availed in respect of these SMEs. A report comes from you, I think it's well served. That's all I'm trying to say. Okay. And MSME advances also, there is a staggered manner than they are given. I think I can take you through to some extent. Some circulars are here. I can hand it over to them. Of course, you also need to say number of account restructured and amount connected. That is to feature in your report. Please make sure that that features. February 7th, yeah. Then there's one more important circular which has been released on February 12, 2018. Resolution of stressed assets revised framework. Okay, why this circular is important? It talks about including provisioning norms, asset classification, conditions for upgrade. It's a very detailed circular. I'm not going to deal with it. Let me be honest about it, because this is supposed to be IRAC norms. I'm sure somebody must have dealt with. Neither I have the time, nor I have not prepared you people to deal with it. But there is a circular. I can leave it with them. It's February 12, 2018. It has been revised. But what it means to say, there is no further downgrading will happen if some conditions have been fulfilled on a particular day. And what all those conditions to be fulfilled has been clearly detailed. If those conditions are not been fulfilled, downgrading will happen automatically, similar to what it was earlier. That means original circular will hold good. That's all I am trying to say. If some banks are saying that this is the only circular which is available, this is only a clarificatory or supplemental to the original circular, which is March 2015 Master Circular in respect of CDR, because this talks about all the 5 types of account, whether it is an IBC, because IBC has been introduced during the year, or effectively has been introduced during the year. There are many accounts would have gone IBC route, otherwise we were known for DRIT, debt recovery circular, DRT, DRIT, whatever you call, and these circulars are only supplemental in addition to that, not in substitution of that. Okay. So, in fact, they say assets restructured under revised framework shall attract provisioning as per asset classification category as laid out in Master Circular on prudential norms on income recognition, asset classification and provisioning pertaining to advances dated July 1, 2015 as amended from time to time. However, provision made in respect of accounts restructured before the date of circular under any earlier scheme shall continue to be held as per the requirements specified therein. That means this is not a substitution. Okay. I just want this to be kept in mind because this is going to impact most of the branches. This is a circular dated February 12, 2018. This is the starting preamble itself says sequel to IBC being introduced. And in fact, they also in the one paragraph annexure 3 they say that which are all the circulars this circular is touching upon. Okay, that's why I wanted you to be impressing upon list of circulars repeat. They themselves were given. In that Master Circular 2015, July 2015 has not been repeated. That holds good, subject to this modification. But some banks have taken a view in the discussion time saying that okay, it's not required. Review of provision for standard assets, it's been there for some time, it continues to be there. CDR, how it should be done, CDR, JLF, S4A, there are various schemes under which it has been. S4A is stressed asset, what should be done? There is a scheme by which they did. That's about it. SDR is a strategic debt regulation. Okay. Further provision made during the year, upgradation, downgradation, closure of accounts in both quantitative and value terms. Please do a reconciliation, then you will come out with the whole structure about it. Then one important thing that we need to be looking at the time of completing our audit is that GST has come into play in a big way, and there are FAQs which have been released. What is the GST implication in respect of financial services, right? It's a very, very detailed document. FAQs have been released. So the transactions are happening at the branch level. Tax implication maybe with the branch level, maybe with the consolidating, maybe division, zone, or then ID, all those things are ISD, Intermediate Service Distributor, right? So many things, concepts have come. So please look at your transaction both in terms of ITC, both in terms of and in terms of various returns to be filed, GSTR 1, 2, 3, 3A. Pardon me for blabbering something because I don't practice GST. But there are many people who practice GST, they are knowledgeable about it, but I just want you to keep in mind what is the implication of GST, various returns which have been filed, how it is being implemented, is the taxes have been or details have been transferred to the head office level, where are we? Please look at this, otherwise it becomes a cost, right? Unregistered dealer, you have bought something from unregistered dealer, you can't claim input tax. You can't even put it in that statement. And most of the places, as I see, all tax is outsourced. Is that right? Tax returns are, including income tax returns are being, withholding taxes are being filed by some XYZ. Sir, you ask any question, sir, our Karitin sir, Gottilla sir. ಯಾತಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ತಪ್ಪಿಲ್ವಾ? ಕರಿತೀನಿ ಸರ್. ನಮ್ಮ ಆಡಿಟರ್ ಆಚೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್. you have got only 4 days. In that 4 days, he may not be available. So please, and especially since it is outsourced, please put it in your planning document itself, saying that these documents are to be kept ready, and we require to have a discussion with the outsource agency at least half a day to clarify our, because you can't go back to that branch because nobody is going to give you a travel cost, right? Travel cost is also restricted. So please, in the audit planning, no, I'm not trying to wish away the issue, but there is an issue. Please try to address that at the planning level itself. So GST compliance, withholding tax compliance is very, very bad, very wanting at the branch level. Because when we consolidate the head office level, we try to consolidate some numbers which is, we know pretty well that it's not correct. Especially paragraph 34A, bunkum figures are being given. Salary, some figures will come. So most of the time this returns, tax audit return which is given from the branch level, does not get the attention that what it requires. Because after all, you are the only one reporting entity, nobody else. So it has to be complete and comprehensive. Most of the time, GST, all this compliances, especially with tax audit report, office report, agalla. Because our working paper may not be such that we can fill it up at the office level, because it has to be signed there itself. Please spare some time, because risk is very high, not because of anything else. Because today reporting requirements and tax regulatories, they directly go to the branch, and in fact when I go to the tribunal for attending some other cases, SBI, some 30 branches have been listed. I asked him, what is this SBI 30 branches have been listed? Branch! Sir, the withholding tax disputes. So notices are being given to the branch, not to the bank. SBI, JP Nagar, SBI, something. 30 and odd cases. Even today, if you pull out the cost list of anybody who gets an IT, you will see that. So, branches are becoming an entity, not the bank, for any of this tax compliance. So, keep that in mind. Do whatever you want. I got a call saying that stop. Okay, 4, I think. I'm just more or less on 4. So, we can continue with us also, along with the special branches. Just keep this in mind and just go through it fully. Yeah, other than that, we can come back and continue. Is that fine? Thank you. Yeah, before I go into the other portion of the special consideration for the audit of branches, I thought I'll touch upon the circular which I was talking about. This is February 12th, 2018. As I told you, this has become a full implementation only for 18-19. So it started in 18, but there was a lot of dispensation was given, and it was not completely effective. Okay, the revised framework, what it says is early identification of and reporting of stress. This is the first point. Lenders shall identify incipient stress in loan book. All these days, earlier the IRAC norms used to talk about only when account has become. The classification used to be performing, not performing. Performing, no problem. Non-performing, that's when the starting point. Performing, non-performing used to have certain characteristics. There is a credit, cash credit account with the bills, so on and so forth. But this is the first time that they say something called stress testing. All non-performing assets are stress tested. Obviously, it has crossed the level of stress testing, then it has become non-performing. So the eagerness of the regulators is that don't try to nurse and bring life to something which is there in the ICU. Yes, that has to be done, but can we look at something, a diagnostic way, saying that can we look at little earlier than that, before he gets into a sickness? Do certain general checkup and try to identify certain problems little early so you can nurse him. That was the basic idea. That was one of the positive output of the cure. All this, when they reviewed the asset quality review at the RBI level, at central level, they realized very big anomalies. Just to sum it up what they were. Even in their asset quality review inspection itself, they found one of the constituent by one bank has been treated as doubtful asset category 1. Some other banks it has been treated as doubtful assets 2. That's okay, it's spirit level. But it's the same account. There can be two different variations in the calendar. But to their surprise and shock, some assets have been declared as loss asset of the same constituent, the same participating consortium. So this became little difficult to digest. So they wanted to rationalize the date of happening. Mainly all these problems happen because of date of commencement of commercial operation. DCCO. This is a very famous in the project financing. DCCO has to be achieved, and they gave some dispensation saying this is really good. Special dispensation saying that if it is a legal battle is there, you have to, instead of 2 years, it became 3 years. So what is a legal dispute? Is again a debate. Is DCCO is what it has been originally announced, or after the financial closure has been completed? There is a lot of what is date of commencement of commercial operation. I'll take a very classic example, which most of us we know. Of course, it is a success story today. All of us we use the road, nice road. I'm sure most of us will agree it's nice to travel in that road, right? The infrastructure corridor enterprises. That's called nice road. It's not because it's nice to drive. That's the name of the road. Ashok. So the project report, when financial closure, that is the term that they use in the banking environment. When the financial closure was done, when DCCO was announced, one of the project realization, there are 3 different realizations in that project. One, obviously, the toll which is being collected by the users, right? That all of us we are familiar with, because most of us we pay the toll when we traverse through that. That is predominantly substantial. That did not happen because Nice Road, a particular point could not be completed because of some big legal dispute. So that dispensation was not there at that point of time. But other financial inflow is sale of surplus land. Sale of surplus land, they earmark what is the, even when you have to build a road, you require road width, of course, obviously length, plus something periphery, so where vehicles can be parked, plus they were supposed to create some various terminals and plus certain parks, environmental requirement has to be made. So those much of lands were allotted. What was found surplus, because when you allot the land, it cannot be exactly so many square meters. So they identified the surplus land in that allotment itself. The sale of surplus land is one of the inflow that happened before the DCCO. And DCCO was delayed in respect of the toll fee, because toll was not made operational. Government did not give various permissions. A stretch of land was not acquired because of whatever be the best known reason, and there was a legal dispute. So they could not complete it. When the whole circuit was not completed, they could not even throw open the thing. Otherwise they had to traverse through for 5 kilometers, then they have to get into another road, through the village and muddy road, and get into regular road, outer peripheral road. Okay? So, RBI, they realized that DCCO is not going to happen. They gave a specific dispensation for nights. Specifically, that particular year, I had signed this balance sheet. DCCO was, a special dispensation was given for this. But having said that, they said the surplus land sale is not a part of financial inflow. It's a capital sale. Though it was there is a project, but they turned around and said that, but because of that we are not giving a dispensation, because of the legal entanglement we are giving a dispensation. Some of this dispensation given account wise, category wise, another famous is Districom, that is any distributing company of electric supply. Power company has got 3 different things. One is generation, transmission, distribution. Any distribution company of the electrical supply, they had a PPA agreement as we entered into with the government or local electricity board, as the case may be. Those agreements were not forthcoming, they were not being completed. So most of the companies had a realization problem even when they distributed the power. So there was a special dispensation was given for Districom companies. Telecom companies, some other dispensation was given. Then when the AQR came in, they said all this dispensation is, though it was given by us, is not acceptable. They reversed the whole thing. So that is a problem that AQR brought in. So AQR was trying to bring in a higher transparency, conflict which was there between one bank and another bank, resetting the DCCO in an appropriate manner as originally understood. They reset the clock back because of many accounts became directly it went into a higher mode, calling for a higher provision. And as all of you are aware, they gave almost like 7 quarters provisioning. Year 1, which was 3 quarters, year 2 was 4 quarters. You have to provide on a graded manner 50% of that, whatever the original provisioning which is required at the time of AQR date. 50% you have to provide, but this 50%, first 50% has been provided in 3 quarters, because it was, if I remember correctly, it was June was over when the AQR was completed. So September, December, March quarter of that year, and then next 4 quarters. So it was supposed to be cleaned up by 2017 March, if I remember it, my days are correct. So what is the fallout of that? Saying that there are a lot of discrepancies are there in the system. Lot of dispensations have been given at a various period of time, which could be interpreted in a manner which is suitable. Each bank was following its own norms. Though prudential norm is one, but it is being practiced in a slightly different manner. So, there is a lot of the quality deterioration, asset quality deterioration is inhibited, developed and grew very big. They said we have to clean it up because we have a clean financial statements. Our quality of the assets should be clean. So they wanted a clean-up process. Simultaneously, they said, why don't we look at early detection? Now that we know that there is a cancer because of these issues, these are all the types of cancers is there. We have found a medicine for that. But why don't we talk about detection camps? That's where this whole thing was said. This is talking about, the whole circular is talking about early detection, and penalizing in early detection is not being implemented. People used to, each bank used to follow its own calendar. Even if it has been, CDR has been approved, because earlier it used to be CDR has to be approved in a corporate world. There are certain industries cannot be brought under CDR. Because if the service industry, it cannot be a CDR. Because CDR was for an industry as specified. Infrastructure was not considered as an industry. Service industry was not considered as an industry, though it may be a very large chunk of economic growth. So, CDR it used to be promulgated only when 75% of the participating person in consortium in numbers and 60% of the value of the amount lent and consortium. Others don't agree with it. Still, CDR has to be implemented if these thresholds have been met. That was the CDR. Corporate debt restructuring is a framework which is outside the banking regular hierarchy, where participating banks used to be there, lenders, who is going to be a CDR leader, all those laws, it's a framework which has been laid out. That first they looked at, they reduced the threshold limit. Then they brought it down 60% and 50%. 60% of the population and 50% of the total people. If they agree for it, they can go for a CDR. Okay, what happens with a person who doesn't want to agree? He has to find a substitute. Earlier, CDR, he doesn't agree, he doesn't agree. My board is not approving. My board is delaying. All this used to be a story. Now they say that once CDR has been put into place, it could be CDR, it could be joint lending forum. There are various forms and contents in which the whole mechanism took over. They said non-agreeing, once the threshold has been limited, everybody has to fall in line. If you are not interested in falling in line, for example, it contains a clause saying that you are supposed to fund something further. In what proportion, if nothing is being, whatever you have not given earlier has to be given by you. Because total package has been drawn, this much is the total amount which should have been given, this much you did not give, balance amount you give. If that fellow is not, that particular banker is not interested, or they are not, their board is not approving, because they had now all autonomy. So bank is not willing to accept it, they were delaying. So by delay what happens, even after the CDR is being put in its place, CDR mechanism, it was not effectively turning it around. Because the funds are not coming in. Promoter is supposed to bring something, he has brought in, but bank is supposed to give something and they are not giving. So how does the turnaround happens? So they found all these mechanics are not working favorably, appropriately in a turnaround methodology. They said those people who are not willing to fall in line, they have to find a substitute. The responsibility or not on CDR, but the bank which is walking out has to find a substitute. They have to bring another lender in his place so that CDR mechanism can run. So delaying tactic is not acceptable. Once CDR has been approved, it is as well as approved by the board of the respective banks. These are the few things that they brought in. It's a very interesting, it's a metamorphic change between what was there in the banking system all these years versus what is going to be tomorrow. So I think that is why the circular is very important. It talks about a lot of early signals, it talks about collapse, it talks about so many things. So it will be very interesting to read this circular, because it will be useful, because this is going to be the walk of the day. This is the process which is going to be followed in the days to come. So just because something is in CDR mechanism, I don't have to look at it. It is not acceptable. If the CDR mechanism has been implemented in full, if what are all the lacunas in that, if in fact without sanction conditions have been fulfilled, lending is used to happen. All those things are not acceptable. Even substitution of the promoters, all those things have been dealt with here. Okay. Just by the way, I just want to touch upon. Please take a look at that circular, and that's a very widely traversed circular, which gives an additional responsibility on the CDR mechanism and to the lender and to the bankers and to auditors also. Okay, that's about it. I'll move on to the subject in hand. Review of sundries and suspense. All of us we know, because sundries will contain some entries which is okay. An interesting story is that most of the one back which I was doing then, sundries, if it is a credit balance, if it is receivable, it's okay sir, anything, I want a head office circular saying anything beyond 1 year, I'll provide it. Without even looking at it, what it is paid for. Is it really advances recoverable? But he was going through the route of saying 100% is being provided, so you don't bother about it. Then we realize that certain amount which should have gone to the expenditure account in the first place itself is being parked there. For example, some fraud happened in a particular DD. That amount is being debited to service account and not realized, not closed up, provided for. So that is why sundries and suspense, one is the credit balance, one is the debit balance, need to be looked at closely and to be reported upon as it was there in the earlier also, LFR. It used to be reported upon. It may have to be reported upon even in the main report, if it merits the quantum, materiality, and it's a known problem. For example, fraud provision used to be in suspense account. Now, no any longer, because fraud provisioning, there is a fraud for which there are various, like IRAC norm, there is a norms which have been created for the fraud reporting. Within 3 months it has been reported upon, within 30 days it has been reported to certain controlling authorities. What is a fraud? Everything has been well defined today, so there is very less room for any discussion on it. Interbank transaction clearing operation is a mudde. Most of the banks are called. There is never, except in the report about how many transactions, what is the value of 2018-19, 2017-18, 2016-17, 2015-16, blah blah, etc., etc., etc. Debit, how much? Credit, how much? Sometimes if you analyze that account, debit and credit will be sitting in the same account. Excepting some marginal difference of bank charges, something will be there. But nobody bothers about it, because it is supposed to be an automatic clearing operation through a link code. But link code is not being punched in properly. There is a document reference number will come, which is prefixed and suffixed by the branch code or bank code or bank name, etc. The same for debit and credit, same thing has to be used, but each one will emanate from somewhere. So they will be using different codes. So a link code will not match with each other. It will not get cleared automatically. It will be debit as well as credit. Everything will be sitting beautifully. We will report and go. And in fact, 2008, RBI RBI took a view saying that okay, every bank has to clear IBIT which is more than 8 years old. They have to clear, they have to bring it to the books and clear it. Then the task force was also done and they cleared it, and many of the banks, they realized that they had to make a provision because of all the receivables, some of the receivables which is fraud related one was sitting in the clearing account. Somebody has encashed some DD at some branch, because DD can be encashed anywhere, any branch. So it was encashed. So but that will be in the interbranch reconciliation. So it's not only the reporting about it, but also the quality of review also is required. If not done by us, at least we should insist that bank does it periodically and tries to clear that as much as possible. If anything is more than 6 months, which means it can never be cleared. What could not be cleared in the last 30 days can never be cleared. So please insist about it, try to get a clearance as much as possible. Fraud reporting, I have already covered about it. Fraud reporting is a big norms have been given. There is the RBI circular given, which is very, very stringent. There are something which is called fraud ab initio, a fraud which is perpetrated by the promoters. In fact, also in CDR says any fraud which has been perpetrated by the promoters cannot be partaking in CDR mechanism itself in the first place. If it has been brought into CDR mechanism and some concessions have been given, then that itself is a fraud on the CDR. So fraud is not looked upon very favorably by RBI or any regulators. I'm sure you must have heard about a lot of cases like 100% provision has been made. It is not because of loss asset, it is because a fraud. Deccan Chronicle is a classic example. 100% provided. In fact, that also one bank was providing 100%, another bank was not. It was providing as if it is a normal NPA provision. So all those anomalies have been removed because of the information transformation between various banks, and it's no longer acceptable. Please be guarded. Any fraud which you come to your knowledge, even if it is a fraudulent act, you will be better served by reporting it rather than not reporting it. Branch manager will not report it so easily because it directly impacts him. But nevertheless, any omission to report it, it impacts you, me. Because as a CSA, somewhere something will come and he will be impacted. So fraud reporting, the moment you think that it is, I'm not sure whether the fraud has happened or not, please see. Or somewhere the branch management has reported as, in any of the report as fraud, you don't have established further, you report it, 100% provision has been called for. Earlier it was a staggered provision, 25, 50, 75, no, 60, 75 and 100, something like that was there. But that has also been changed. Now fraud is 100%. The review of MOC with complete details, I think I have explained this. Give as much details as possible in the report itself saying the MOC, because if MOC is not clear, most of the time it doesn't get passed at the various levels. Because MOC is not being passed at branch level. MOC is being initiated at the branch level. It might be passed at the controlling office level or it may be passed at the head office level. One interesting, important thing which all of us we need to look at it. An MOC of last year, has it been incorporated in my books current year? Please take a look at it. For example, a sundries or suspense has been passed as an MOC, accounted for. It cannot continue to as an entry in sundries or suspense in the next year. Because impact of that MOC should have been incorporated in my books. So first, when you start the audit, like opening balance verification, these are all the things which has to be incorporated in your audit planning. What is the MOC passed in the last year? And what is the effect equal to? Is it confirmed? I think you should take all management representation about this MOC. Otherwise, it will be like neither raw material nor finished goods, but somewhere in WIP. It can't be eternally be in WIP. Okay, review of accelerated provisioning in respect of stress tests is what I was talking about this circular. Please go through that because this is giving a lot of input. I think with that more or less I must have completed my portion on special consideration for audit branches. Just one sentence I just want to leave it here. Maybe two. Definitely there are some repetitions in my presentation, but that is intentional. Because to drive home it clearly. Two, special considerations for the audit of branches is exclusive of normal consideration. It is overstressed, saying that this is normally has to be followed, but definitely please follow in respect of audit of branches. That's all. You should do a normal test as well as please confirm that you have done the normal test. And readings are done, please go to your family doctor and recheck once the report which has come. That's all I am trying to drive home. So it is repetition. It is definitely giving more emphasis to whatever otherwise you know. I am not bringing any great yarn here. Don't expect me to give any yarn here because I don't belong to that group. I am only a practitioner. I am not a theoretician. And all of you have better knowledge than me. I am just trying to re-emphasize some of these things out of my experience. That's it. Yeah. Any questions? Please ask me at this stage or later on. I will travel through and give you as much as I can do. During the coffee break, somebody asked me, can some of the audit procedures, documentation, can it be shared? My response to that is yes and no. Audit planning, there was a specific question which was asked was, can you share the audit planning? It's an emphatic no for the simple reason that audit planning contains certain tools which have been used mainly for sampling, two for documentation because we have downloaded various important criteria about the accounts from the financial directly to this using a tool. So that tool may or may not be available with everybody or may or may not be available with the branch that you are doing. So to that extent it will become a limitation. And I don't want an audit plan to have a limitation to start with. Two, the size of the branches will vary. The type of transaction which is being conducted with the branches will vary. Could be a predominantly acquisitive branch, could be predominantly a retail lending branch, could be predominantly a deposit oriented branch, could be a forex branch, non-forex branch, link branch, service branch. There are different types of branches. So no one shoe fit for all. My request is audit plan has to be drawn with reference to the branch that you are doing. Certain basic parameters have to be captured. There is no go about it. There is something called query tracker. You have to capture it, all the observations, because incidentally this is what I wanted to. Sorry, I forgot about it. A query tracker is what we use very predominantly because audits are conducted in various places. And I get, because if it is information is being loaded on the particular tool which we use for audit, automatically it comes to me by the end of the day. Once he closes the audit and once he closes the system, it gets pumped into. I know what is the transaction he has reviewed, what documents he has reviewed, what is his observations, and then I can communicate to him saying that is this observation is complete, or what else you need to check, and how the report should come. All this are all incorporated in our audit tool. Maybe it's not available to everybody. So please use a generic thing, and please use a gray tracker, because monitoring and sign off by the senior person is one of the important things that they look upon in the peer review. Why peer review by the institute? Even QRB looks at it very closely. What is the observations that been made? How you are resolved? What is the evidence that you have got to say that you have complied with quality review? So quality review is very important for QRB. So please give little attention to prepare audit planning which suits you. I can give only generic. I'll try to see whether I can create a generic environment and send across to them. If that's going to be found suitable, please adopt it. Modify it, may be sure. Okay, I'll try to work on it on Monday and try to send it across to them. But I'm not promising before you start joining whether it will be with you or not, I don't know. This is a audit planning memorandum. We also have an audit closure memorandum which also talks about what are the major observations, what is being, how it has been reported upon. It might find a place in management representation letter, it might find a place in my LFAR, it might find a place in the LFAR as well as main report. So we also talk about audit closure document. That's another document which is useful so that it's a tight leash shall be complete. Third document we also use the audit large advances and deposits, so on so forth. Even for LFAR report we use a particular format and tool. That is available, I can send across straight away. That's not an issue. That's not a proprietary, I can send across. It's a modified version of whatever the checklist which is available in the institute to meet a larger requirement. That's all. That I can send across. That's not an issue. Then what else is required? A working paper documentation is again part of my audit working paper. Of course, there are certain mandatory fields, certain non-mandatory fields, certain field which comes from directly from the thing. What we do is that we also use this large advances, we send this document, ask them to fill it up, ask them to put their comments, inspection report comment, the RDA comments, everything they have to consolidate in one place. What is the action taken report on that is to be consolidated in that place. They are expected to sign it off and send it to me before we start on it. So that much we try to do. It talks about sanction, it talks about documentation, it talks about disbursement, it talks about pre-closure, it talks about stock statement, it talks about insurance, it talks about valuation of the collateral, valuation of the asset which is connected to that, it talks about guarantee, it talks about the NCs, this so on, so on, bills, everything. It's every account, all accounts in one place. So we use that as they sign off and give. Over and above that, we take a management representation letter. I think Sir asked me, his management representation is sufficient enough. We take over and above that. After that only we finish our report. Management representation letter is also one of the document for preparation of the audit report. It's not a substitution for that. That's all I would like to say. MR we can definitely give. It talks about every category of income, every category of expenditure, every category of asset, every category of liability, and plus contingent liability, legal cases, so on. Whatever, internal control. IFC is also being added in that. Earlier also we used to add, now it is also being added. IFC controls. That's the documentation. I think, can I move on or anything else you would like to know? Yeah, this is the specialized branches. This is what they have recognized as special branches in LFAR, in RBI and so on. branches dealing in forex transaction, branches dealing with advances in excess of rupees 100 crores. But I think 100 crores is too, because 100 crores was brought in when large advances being defined as anything 2 crores. I think now 2 crores has been revised to 5 crores, but 100 crores has not been revised to 200 crores. And in my opinion, 100 crores is most of the branches will have. Most of the branches which deals with advances will have 100 crores. So to that extent, every branch will get covered as special branches. I don't think that's the intention of it. Branches dealing with recovery of NPAs such as asset recovery management branches. I don't know, many banks have got ARB, many banks don't have an ARB. It's a division of the head office. So if you have got an ARB which has been allotted to you, this will apply. That's all, nothing more. The branches dealing in clearing operations. These are all the 4. As I told you, Treasury is neither considered as a branch nor being paid for. Big gross. Okay, what is a forex transaction branch? Material adverse features in internal audit report or RB inspection report in relation to NRE, NRO, NRNR, EFC, RFC comes. Adherence to guidance of controlling authorities. Obviously, there should be a circular from them. Operational effectiveness of nostro. This is where our Modi's problem happen. That's where the fines have been levied. Nostro and nostro. Okay, to put it a little simply, nostro account is my forex account with a foreign bank. Nostro account is their account with corollary to both. But it's not, the transaction of nostro will not be reflected in nostro, nostro will not be reflected in nostro. It's not so. Because I may have a transaction in foreign currency which is being, end is being done. Another bank which is a foreign bank outside the country in the foreign currency. That will go through only nostro or not nostro. Something else, the originating bank is a foreign bank where I am only a correspondent bank or something like that, and the collection happens in India, it goes through a nostro. So there will not be matching between nostro and nostro. But net balances are out of that. Net balances. Net foreign exchange exposure. For that they will be considering nostro and nostro, but not for transaction level. Okay, that's about it. And then there is a, it's not working. I think there is a Microsoft Word document which is nothing but the report, LFR report of respective special branches. That is what I have attached there. Let's see how to put it out. Okay. I think you should be. Okay, this is the foreign branches dealing in foreign exchange transaction. It contains the questionnaire. What are all the transactions which has to be captured? What should be done? So it's a same LFR checklist. I have not used anything beyond that because first you have to sign out with the LFR. LFR is nothing but an audit tool also. So this LFR is not my creation, excepting maybe 1 or 2 paragraphs have been added for the sake of simplicity. It talks about what is the branch following the instructions, guidelines of the controlling authorities of the bank. This is not the following relation to foreign exchange. If not, state the irregularities in respect of deposit account. For example, NRNR account has been opened where it should be NRE account should have been opened. NRE account, certain categories of information which has been collected. Who is the person responsible for opening NRE account? Who are the entitled person? And what is the operation which should be conducted? What should be the reporting requirement? All this are there. So, is any account has been opened which is not in accordance with that foreign exchange management manual, and is the bank has reported upon. That's all. Deposits, advances, export bills. Export bills contains both the pre and post export credit, and bills for correction. And consciously I have not included the interest subvention here, because interest subvention becomes a part of a claim with the government, and it is not coming under the forex branches checklist. It comes under the regular checklist. Interest subvention is again, subvention will also be in the suspense account and Sundays account. If it is more than periodically you have to claim it and somebody gets reimbursement. Various subvention scheme, it could be agricultural subvention scheme, it could be where textile also, textile subsidy used to be there, textile machinery subsidy, there used to be a tough scheme, TUFS, technology upgradation finance scheme, which was given for textile industry. Then export finance is to be that accepting file industry, it used to be a bill to bill or credit to credit. Other than those file industry, there it can be a revolving basis, first interest rate. That was the difference. Bills for collection, the R return, all this comes under this forex operations. So any discrepancy in that is to be obtain the list of nostro accounts maintained first. Which are the countries in which nostro accounts have been maintained? In what? For example, I may have a nostro account with ABN AMRO in London. It could be dollar denominated, it could be pound denominated, it could be marks denominated, it could be any one of them. So I need to mention nostro account maintained with whom in what currency. Because if it is a dollar bill has been drawn, it will go through the nostro. ABN AMRO is the end beneficiary or end person who has cleared that. And to be realized in nostro and realized in dollar, they will go through that transaction. Then he reports and collects and expect that entry gets knocked off. That's what I was trying to explain, saying nostro is with whom I maintain and what currency I maintain, plus periodical reconciliation. If such a nostro account, because nostro account is a reflection of the transaction which has been completed. SBLC is a underlying transaction. That's like a, if I put it in a simplistic way, letter of credit is not a financial transaction which is fund based. Nostro account will capture only fund based. SBLC is a non-fund based. So that's why it did not meet anybody's radar. If you see that, many of the SBLCs have been created from one branch without even controlling authorities knowing about it, and beneficiary is somebody else. What happened to that particular SBLC, what are the bills drawn below that, and how it was liquidated, all this became a crisis and the amounts are very large. So nostro account will not contain any of the non-fund based transactions. Just I want to know. So reconciliation of nostro account is also important. Now if I have modified this, LFR has not been modified by the RBA, I think they should also capture the non-fund based transactions which have been put through in foreign currency, also need to be done. Because this goes through a dealing room. It doesn't go through the books. All the nostro accounts are regularly operated. I mean, it should not be a bogus account. Or periodic balance information obtained from all concerned overseas branches and correspondents. Or these accounts duly reconciled periodically or observations from. Some of these things have been added by us. Anyway, this is a checklist which is available if you are using your foreign branch audit. This is one of the special branches. Then you have gone out. Gone out from there. Okay. Let me go back so much here. Okay, next is yeah, 100 crores. I don't know whether we require to review through this because all of us we are familiar with it. It's a large advances branch. I mean, most of this. Okay, some 2 or 3 important things which I want somebody to look into it a little more closely. If you are doing a advances branch which is substantially like industrial finance branch, they call it a mid-corporate branch. Various nomenclatures of MCB, industrial finance branch, each bank has got their own nomenclature. Basically, it's a predominantly advances related branch. That too, it is a corporate advances related branch. But to my surprise and shock, sometimes I see even retail advances are being retained in their books. To my mind, as a control perspective, it dilutes. Because you are focusing, it's like, can you put a bear and a pig in the same enclosure? In the process, either a bear will escape if it is a small bear, or it will escape as a pig, or pig will be lost sight of. So, you keep retail advances in a large branch, which is predominantly advances related branch, I think you should be discouraged. Because controls which is required to be reviewed, a large advances is independent and different than the retail loans. So, to the extent possible, I think you should ask them to shift it out of that. For management convenience, they say that this is industrial finance branch, but they will have your salary advances account, employees account, LB account, some regular banking transactions to be done, and as per the RBI regulation of opening the branch, there is a regulation for how many number of branches have to be done, which rural area, how many has been done, how many has been done in the metro. Based on those norms, industrial finance branch is not being considered as a branch where it's like a deforestation. If you cut 2 trees, you have to plant 100 trees types. So like that, if you open a large branch in the metro, a branch in the metro, you are supposed to open 2 financial inclusion says you are to open 3 branches in rural area or semi-rural area. For that, industrial finance branch is not being considered. Because industrial finance branch is something which is carved out of as a specialized branch out of various branches which is available. So it is a segregation from the banking activity to focus on large advances in a very focused manner, very important manner. Whereas you keep all small accounts, small advances account, small banking transaction, it diffuses the. So to the extent possible, if you find something, please report it in like we are saying that they are also doing, though it's called the IFC, but they are also doing all these accounts which should be shifted out to some retail banking or other commercial banking or personalized banking. Today there is a concept of personalized banking has come. I don't know why they never considered this as a special branches. Today many banks have opened a personalized banking. That means they will deal only with individuals, HUF and any loan connected to an individual HUF. Not even firms, because it will come under MSMED or SME branches. Now SME branches are also being started opening. Second thing I just wanted to impress upon here is some of these branches are also keeping their documents in the custody of them. As per RBI regulation, especially in the state of Maharashtra, they cannot hold any document in the state of Maharashtra, even if it is photocopy or a scan copy, because even that attracts a stamp duty in the state of Maharashtra. So I think some of you would have realized that all registration in sort of large advances, document mortgage registration will happen in Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, because the storage of those documents will be available there only. So strictly speaking, you cannot even look at those documents in that branch. If it is the Bombay branch, because most of the IFCs will be in Bombay and Calcutta. Calcutta, Delhi there is no problem, Chennai there is no problem, Bombay. Most of the banking industry works from Bombay. They cannot hold any documents because it suffers regular stamp duty. Even if it is scan copy, even if it is photocopy, so where it is original. So mostly it will be stored somewhere in custodial branch in somewhere in Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, as the case may be. Sometimes you may have to traverse to those branches to see the document. Even AOD, nothing can be there. Okay, just that's by the way. So there are two important takeaways now. Is if it is a large advances branch, please let it not be cluttered with all this retail advances and other normal banking transactions. Two is that the original document as part of that particular jurisdiction, please keep a watch and advise them not to keep it. Custodial will be somewhere else, and we also need to get a confirmation. Sometimes we may have to go upon there and check. That's the two things that which I want to impress upon here. Otherwise, the branches like checklist is the same as LFR. It's a large okay, 100 crores advances. There is a LFR checklist which is being used here, but I don't think that in the credit go through because there is one more slide, one more checklist which is there for large advances, which will include this industrial finance branch too. So I am not opening that, otherwise there is a necessity. Then coming back to the NBA asset recovery management, basically asset recovery management branch, what it does not have is regular banking transaction will be there. Even if asset recovery management branch realizes some money, either through the auction or the collaterals which have been given to you, or some realization happens, some remittances happens. If remittances happens elsewhere, some other branch, only books are being maintained here. Books, documents, everything is being maintained here. But the amounts will be in some other branch. So the coordination efforts is required. And it contains all documents right from birth till the court case, everything will be there. And normally ARB branch, in fact, first year of Vijaya Bank I did ARB, I was really lost because it has to be done by a, I would say that it should be done by a law graduate, not by a HR owner. Documentation is very large. Because disputes arises because documentation is incomplete. That is the starting point. So what is the learnings out of it? At the time of dispersal itself, we have to see the documentation closely and correct any mistakes in the documentation. In fact, one of the ARB recovery, he said there is a particular equitable mortgage of asset is there with you. When they went for auction, the dimension and the connotations are given, boundary by north, south, east, west, survey number so and so. What is in real is different than what is there in the document. Which means at the time of sanction itself, nobody has done a legal review of the document which has been given to you. That means that particular asset has been, it's like a flat number 302. And you know, particularly Bombay, in all the societies, a certificate will be given. 302 never belonged to my constituent. 302 always, right from day one, constructed, and the certificate was belonging to somebody else. But my document shows 302 is mine. It's a wrong reference point. But because of which we could not recover, because the original owner says it is my property. The society says it is his property. The allotment is his. Whereas as per my document 302 is supposed to be equitable mortgage has been given to back. So they could not enforce, even though they could possess the asset, but they could not recover. So legal documentation, legal review at the time of disbursement is very, very important, because you cannot proceed further at the time of when you are in ICU. So general test is very important at the initial stages, then and then. That's all I am trying to drive home. These are a few practical things which we got. So preferably if you are getting allotted A or B, because fees is very good. Quantum of advances, though it's not in my books, but physically it's not in my books, but balance sheet wise it is in my books. So based on that they are going to give you the fees. It's a very large fees, about 200 crores, about 300 crores, 400 crores. Fees will be very good, but review is very large. Report is very substantial, because every account you have to report upon. First, progress, and what is the original status, and what is the improvements which has happened, how it has been reduced or it has become increased, even interest cost being added, notional interest. That also becomes substantial. Legal charges incurred, it does not become a debit to the P&L, even though it becomes an expenditure in the banking transaction, but it gets recovered through a notional entry in the constituents account. And number of cases, number of posted, the cost is very high. So documentation wise, reports are very, very large in a A and B. So substantially work wise it is very large. So engage another legal guy who will be able to support you. This is my take on it. Fortunately, unfortunately, I am a law graduate too, but that's apart. But it doesn't help. The normal way we look at it, it's not going to be possible to do a good audit of ARB branch. I stand correct. Because ARB branch is the one which is being sold to ARCIL most of the time. ARCIL is asset recovery, India Limited, where you basket of some assets you sell it, and towards that that ARCIL guys will. ARCIL is promoted by various banks. There are 4 or 5 asset recovery companies out there. They will give some notional value on it, they will give some script that becomes an investment in my books. And any asset which has been transferred to a ARCIL, I cannot write back the provision which is being carried till that whole asset is being liquidated. Am I making myself clear? There are 6 accounts. For example, asset account number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My book value is 200 crores. Because all asset basket of asset, I go to the RCL, negotiate with 2 or 3 asset recovery companies. Finally, somebody says, no, I will buy it at, because it's not in specie, that means it's not specific. I am not taking only A but leaving B and C to you. It's totally A, B, C, D, E, all the 5. You take it. He will negotiate and this is the price. Then I will go on with the recovery. If I get more than the negotiated value, profit is mine. If I get less than that, I'll come back to you. I'll claw back. I'm only a collecting agent for you. So investment is being brought into my books. Provision is still being continued in my books, the bank's books, till the whole thing is being liquidated. Okay? And on a pro rata they will be allocated. So that's about ARB. Anything else? Because this is a branch, specialized branch, many people do not have done it. Obviously ARB will be in D3 or loss asset. If loss asset also won't be there, because loss asset they will remove it from the books. Because there is no point in giving in ARB also. And pay a fee for what it is. They will try to close the books. ARB will be D1, D2, D3 mostly. So they got a probability of recovering it, but it requires a lot of persuasion. And he has to go to before DRD, he has to represent his case, he has to go before CDR, so on. So I mean, multiple agencies with whom he has to work. And normally it's a very staff, depleted staff. One manager and one senior manager and two guys. So it's a good brand, good exposure to work with, but it's very large, extricating work. Anything else on ARB? I'm going to take it because it's one of those experiences I had. Many people will not get ARB because today I think banking system is closing down ARB and they are making it as a part of the various sales. So it's known. Many have removed the ARB concept. Do any banks have got ARB even now? I don't know, any of you have got the allotment of ARB? Because ARB I can take a session by itself, but I don't think that that concept itself will be reduced further. So to that extent, even this has also got a, I think this presentation with, who is the person coordinating here? Yeah, this material will go to them, because that checklist is also there with them. It's a LFR checklist which is there in the RBI site itself. I have not done anything for that. I'm running out of time. Yeah, clearing house is very simple. Clearing house is transaction has been initiated by one branch, is cleared by another branch. So matching concept, most of the transactions will pass through the various different accounts like IVIT and branch. Some people call it as branch clearing. Some people call it, they also have got national clearing. Supposing the clearing goes outside my network, that means there are participating banks. For example, if you take a clearing house in Bangalore, south, there may be a clearing house. Participating bank will be Vijaya Bank, Canara Bank, Syndicate Bank, State Bank of India. Other clearing operations, national clearing will be somewhere else, not. Some other banks will be there, or these four plus something two may be there. So if it is outside my network of the clearing participants, then it goes to the branch clearing. If it is within that, it will come under IBA. That's the simplistic way of clearing. Both are clearing operation. DD clearing, there is a separate account being maintained. Checks clearing, some accounts are being maintained. Government pension, government funds also they create a separate clearing house, clearing operations. But they are all only sub accounts of major clearing house. So clearing is nothing but is a service branch. Mostly it deals with demand draft, pay orders, and to some extent large checks. And maybe pay bills and government pensions. So let me see what is contained in that. Vishal, is it required to? Okay. It talks about does the branch have a system of periodic review of the outstanding entries in clearing adjustments accounts? In your view, it has a system as generally, because it doesn't have anything, any other account other than the expenditure account. some administrative expenditure, and plus clearing, that's a balance sheet figure. It could be a liability or asset as it is. The review of the clearing adjustments accounts inward and outwards reveals any old, large, unusual. This is where I told you 2006 the RBI came out with a circular saying that you have to clear off all this. Anything before 2006 has to be cleared off. That the absorbed entries have to be passed to your books. Reveals an old and adjustment, inward clearing, normal clearing, high value clearing, inter-branch clearing, national clearing. This is what I was trying to explain. Return and disordered clearing. Number, value. Of course, here I think we should catch debits and credits both separately. This is outward clearing. Similar, something in inward clearing for me is an outward clearing for the other person. Something outward clearing for me is an inward clearing for the other person. So from my perspective, both inward clearing will be there, outward clearing will be there. I have sent it for clearing because the constituent is mine. I have received some document for clearing, that's outward clearing. There has a branch strictly followed the guidelines of controlling authority of the bank with respect to operations related to claim transactions. Comment on the systems and procedures followed by the branch. But each bank has got its own process to follow. What is the matching to be done, how it should be done, and if there is a 15 days clearing tendency, then how it should be reported upon, to whom it should be reported. All this process is there. So is the reports are being generated in that manner, etc. That's all. That makes the job of specialized branches complete. Yeah, I just for the sake of completion and comprehensiveness I have brought in little more. I'm sure what documents we collect. Can we move on to the other question, or is that fine? Because what's the responsibility that has been given to me, I try to do to the best of my ability, and I didn't allow anybody to talk. Maybe that's the problem that I created. Everybody is welcome to ask me any question. I thought probably for the sake of completeness, there are certain other slides are also there, which is the material which is available with you. I think probably you can get it, and what documents are to be collected for LFAR, because I don't want LFAR to be completed after the balance sheet is over, because they are all interrelated. This is required for an audit also, and this is required for the LFAR reporting. That's the way I look at it, nothing more. Then stock audit report, inspection report. This is where I was talking about penal interest. Who is worried about penal interest and the original amount itself is not being recovered? Penal interest is only one portion of income leakage. Income leakage audit, we talk about only penal interest provided. But main cause of problem will not be addressed at that stage. So that we need to address. Why penal interest in the first place? That is what we should be looking at. Status of claims lodged with ECG, DICG. I'm sure all of us we are aware of what is DICGC. How much it covers, it doesn't cover full value. Then that much amount, if it is received from DICGC, it is also is to be net against the provisions to be made, not fully. Then this may also be in the clearing suspense account, DICGC claim, that need to be extinguished. Then details of cases of compromise, settlement, write-off involving write-off, waivers in excess of 50 lakhs. This is only a point of collection of information, but there are a lot of theories behind this. What can be a one-time settlement? OTS. OTS has got a big concept by itself. There are various circulars for that. Who should be eligible for OTS and what is the quantification of OTS can be done? Earlier, the banking system OTS used to be a very easy affair. It used to be bank-related activity. Then RBI felt that lot of advances are being just good advances, which is good advance means it's a bad advance, but good of recovery because it has got a huge security value. So why you are not enforcing the security value? Why you are giving ODS? They started questioning. Supposing I have got an exposure of 50 lakhs. My collateral is, when it was lodged with the bank, it was 30 or 40 lakhs. I got of course I don't have a land. Now I got a piece of land in MG Road, which is worth around 5 crores today. Why are we going to give a ODS and 30% haircut or 40% haircut when you can realize that asset you can settle fully 50 lakhs plus interest suspense, whatever is being accumulated, and balance annuity, no problem. Why? So people started questioning. So ODS was one of the camouflage way of reducing the or improving my operational efficiency. Most of the banks, when they followed, they gave one ODS, withdrew the provision which is required on 50 crores. The asset is also being, security is being handed over to him. That fellow will take the asset which is worth around 2 crores. Even if he sells it, he will realize 1.8 crores, 20 crores, he will give, 20 lakhs he will give it to the bank because ODS has been arrived. 2, ODS was going to be a protracted environment. ODS means one-time settlement. One-time settlement itself is going to be done on phased manner. Then it doesn't mean it's ODS. So, lot of circulars came on ODS that it is being abused. So RBI has given a lot of circulars on that. Today ODS cannot be, it's not an easy affair. Liquidate your non-performing asset. It requires what is the security value, what type of security, what is the quality of the security, what documentation you have got, how much it is enforceable, what is the problem, what is the distress value, what is the stressed value of that security which has been given, what is the cost being incurred, who are all participating or sharing in that, so many things. Because you could not get first charge, second charge, and the staff accountability, so many things comes. That's about it. The staff accounts downgraded or upgraded, which definitely requires your attention because that's a reporting requirement. Then the documents goes on like this. Yeah, I just want to hereby break up of matured debts and deposits and all. Most of the branch level people will not be looking at asset liability mismatch. ALM, what we call it as ALM. Can I indulge in telling whatever little I know about it? So, okay, what is asset liability mismatch? What is my asset I know? Advances. What is the periodicity tenor I know? Bills means it may be 30 days from the thing. So my asset is being put in a various maturity bucket. What is the liability? It's nothing but deposits, so many things and all. When the maturity of this and this does not coincide. Obviously it will not coincide. I got an asset which is recoverable in 15 days. I got a liability which is to be extinguished tomorrow. So where am I going to get the money for this? So asset liability mismatch is also brings out the major important thing is CRR, SLR. Why that is being brought in? To reduce the impact of asset liability mismatch. CRR, SLR has been brought in. Statutory liquidity ratio. Because my payout becomes more than my realization, I need to create a buffer. That is nothing but statutory liquidity ratio. I need to keep in whatever the asset statutory liquidity ratio. It could be cash, balance with RBI, jewellery, so many things. And of course, there's one. I think probably I want to touch upon that. There's one circular recently which has been issued in 2018. Which talks about valuation of SLR security. Earlier it used to be taken at book value, today a valuation also happens on that. Let me see whether I can lay my hand on that. by the end of the day. So there is a valuation concept kicks in respect of SLR. CRR is cash reserve ratio. These two are very important for your capital adequacy. If anybody is certifying a capital adequacy ratio, it talks about a lot of mathematics, a lot of fund based, non-fund based, and a lot of weightage is being given in terms of various types of things. And even credit rating also takes into account, is being taken into account for the purpose of finding out what is the capital adequacy ratio. That is where I'm sure you see the balance sheet of the bank. You will see capital adequacy ratio this year is 12.34, last year is 11.38. That ratio to arrive at the capital adequacy ratio, there is a huge circular, there is a big computation which takes into account your tier 1 capital, tier 2 capital, your bonds, then your advances portfolio, advances being again classified into a credit rated paper, non-credit rated paper, and various weightage has to be given. Even in the housing loan, supposing a housing loan which has got a tenure of more than 10 years, 7 years, but less than 25 lakhs threshold, the weightage will be, the exposure will be only 25%, whereas unrated paper, that means each credit rating agencies are CRISIL, ICRA, one more is there, 3 credit rating agencies, Fitch, there are 3 credit rating agencies, and there are certain loans you have to have 2 rating, 2 of them have rating and beyond a certain exposure, and the rating also gives AA means something else, AA plus means something else. It's good for 50 crores including the interest servicing for a tenure of 6 years. You might downgrade it next year because if his performance has not been good or his history of repayment is not been good, you might downgrade that paper also, that exposure of any paper which has been given by that institution. So credit rating plays a major role in the capital adequacy ratio computation. And there is something called haircut, so many things are being done. It's a big computation. Plus bank as a whole is being done. Maybe it may not be available, otherwise some people who, anybody is doing Punjab National Bank? Here in this? Are they done? It has this particular software which sits on your, it used to be, I forget the name because I read some 10 years back or 15 years back. And there is a software they created for the capital adequacy. It is certified at the branch level. That's only important. It's certified at the branch level. I don't think Canara Bank does the at the branch level. Vijaya Bank does not do the branch level. Corporation Bank does not do at the branch level. I don't know. Any of their bank does it in the branch level. I don't know. Capital adequacy computation. Okay. So where did I leave? Okay, that is one important thing which has to be reviewed. If you are doing the branch audit, in case the branches have got that CR certification, credit adequacy, capital adequacy ratio, certification by you. Otherwise, no problem. Then ATM frauds, because ATM is being attached to a branch, ATM frauds have to be accounted for at the branch level. Most of the time it is being recovered from the ATM operating people, but in case if it is not recoverable, then you have to provide in your books. ATM frauds. Because ATM is operated through the branch. ATM itself is not a accounting unit. Then the MOC I think I have covered substantially. Okay, key changes in the format of audit report. I just leave it with you. All the other paragraphs I will. new affirmative statement about the auditor's fulfillment of independence. On this day, we never used to take an independence, because if I have got a borrowing or my relative has got a borrowing with that bank, I am sure that my independence is being affected. So there is an affirmative statement of independence is to be established. That is one important thing which has come from the Code of Ethics of ICAI and also under Companies Act also. Earlier, more than 1,000 rupees. If you are indebted to more than 1,000 rupees, we cannot do. 1,000 rupees is peanut today, because ATM itself, ATM or credit card will itself will have exposure. So you are supposed to give independence. Affirmation. New section of other information where applicable in accordance with the requirement of SA 720 ordinance found regarding relating to other information. There are certain other information which have been called for under SA 720 that need to be reported upon. The format is also there. New description of responsibility relating going concern to be included in the respective sections of management's and auditor's responsibility. May not be very relevant in a branch audit, but bank audit yes, because today a lot of mergers are happening. Okay. I just want to open the independent branch audits report. Earlier we never used to have this kind of a bifurcation, otherwise content used to be the same. Bifurcation now opinion paragraph, basis of opinion, which is there in the Companies Act and which is there in the SA 700 law, which is also being modified in the branch audit report. So to that extent it is not, it's a new innovation which is there. Now it is being properly bifurcated, properly paragraph to give a importance to the emphasis. Then I move into the operating portion of it. Objectives are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statement as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an auditor's report that includes our opinion. Reasonable assurance is high level of assurance, but is not guaranteed that an audit conducted in accordance with SAs will always detect material misstatement when it exists. Misstatements can arise from fraud or error and are considered material. This is borrowed out of section 138 of the Companies Act 2013. Same terminology is being used. They have modified the form, the branch audit report also. Please don't sign it on the old format, even if they send it across to you like that, because new format has been used. Because all these essays are applicable today. Then IFC is also used to be reported upon. See, other matter is what I was talking about. No adjustments or provisions have been made in the accounts, which used to be in the main report as one paragraph. Now there is a specific affirmation has been given on other report. Whatever the thing that you want to put it there, please put it, so that it catches the attention of the central session. But for that, then I move on to key audit matter comes from the SA. See, paragraph E, 10E. With respect to the adequacy of internal financial controls over financial reporting of the branch and the operating effectiveness of such controls, refer to our separate report in Annexure E. This was not there earlier. Use caution. And how you want to collect the IFC control perspective, but you need to devise the format. Honestly speaking, I have not devised because I am not doing any branch audit. but it needs to be done because IFC is something which we are familiar with the Companies Act and various corporates that we are handling it. In the similar lines, except even income, in a branch, income, if it is the advances branch will be the major one, or interest expense will be the major one in respect of, that's again key. CAM will help you to identify an IFC control documents. And you have to devise a format saying, okay, how this is being authorized, how the interest application is being done, what periodicity is being done, how the correctness is being checked, how it is being counter-checked, what was the manual intervention, is it a general control or specific control, is it a detective control or preventive control, all these things have to be answered. What is there in IFC? The same thing has to be answered instead of the key. It could be interest application if it is a deposit related branch, it will be income, it is what do you call, advances branch, or maybe services income. So please prepare a document for IFC controls being established in a little simplistic way and keep that as a document. Preferably if it has been signed off by the branch management, that's great.
What if the figures are nearly the same?
It is nothing to do with the figures.
No, if deposits are nearly equal to the advances.
No. In IFC we talk about the process which has been laid down is appropriate and it is working effectively at all points of time.
That's what for the key financials, no?
Key.
In this, which will be the key I am telling? Advances or deposits?
Depends on the branch that you are working.
That's what I am telling. In that branch, nearly the same are there. Then
Both.
That is what I am asking.
Both.
No, I asked you that only.
Yeah, both. If it is service related branch, clearing operations will become the key. So we need to spell out what is the key audit matter and what is that I am reporting upon. And that will also serve the subservient of IFC controls. But for those two changes, then branch has disclosed the impact of pending litigation on its financial statements, which was not there earlier in the format of audit report. To that extent, format of audit report has become very large, very exhaustive, more like any Companies Act reporting. That matter of emphasis, everything comes here. Because all ACs have been made applicable to this. That's what I wanted to sort of discuss. Anything else? I think with this more or less, CAM, a funnel approach. Which again is there in the standard system. Matters communicated with those charged with the governance. Matters that require significant auditor attention. CAM's matters of most significance. From these through funnel approach comes. So I just closed on saying what is the CAM and how it should be done. That's for the consumption. It was touched upon various certificates to be given, and how the certification has been done has been there time immemorial. And only thing that I find sometimes the figures in financials and figures in certificates are too different. Let us not have that kind of a discrepancy in the document. Anything else you want to communicate through the auditor's report, please communicate. I'm open for receiving any breakbacks or any inadequacies which is there in my presentation. Now, later, through mail, I will try to respond as much as possible. I promise that I will do one or two things and send across you, that I send it to the branch. From there it gets communicated to you, and that will be an appropriate forum. That's it. I think I will try to close it at allotted time, maybe on the dot, because I prefer it that way. But still the floor is open. We can close this and we can still discuss. If everything is fine, thank you. Thank you for the patience.
Thank you so much for your wonderful time, sir. So hope all the participants have enjoyed and enriched with your experience. With this, I would like to announce, before I conclude the session, I would like to announce one thing. Like all the PPTs have been shared in Bangalore branch website under background material. So you can please have a look at it and make use of the resources availability. And you can also feel free to contact any of the resource persons for any of your queries during bank audit seasons. Hope you have a good bank audit season. So on behalf of Bangalore Banks, I request Chairman sir to come and present memento to the speaker.
Thank you. After listening to me during articles period, still he is more than keen to listen to me. That means I have not bored him so much during the articles period. That's all I can say.
Thank you, and so if you have any queries, it's open for open. So otherwise, session is concluded. Thank you so much.